everybody, it's Chris from Marketing During Tough Times. Thanks for stopping by. It is Monday. Monday is Motivation Day. And for these next few Mondays, I am going to be talking about a subject very near and dear to my heart, and that is the subject of grit. What is grit? What are the elements of grit? How did I find grit? And if you don't have grit, can you create grit in your own self? I actually never understood what the word grit meant. I thought it was one of those words that people just sort of tossed around. This person has grit. This person doesn't have any grit. It wasn't until about a year ago when I woke up and found out that the governor of Illinois had closed all businesses due to the COVID crisis. And all of a sudden, this business that I've had since 1990 could not operate in the fashion that it had operated for the last 30 years. I called an emergency meeting and started meeting with my department heads. I own a performing arts school. I started talking to people privately. What can we do? What can we do? One of the directors I spoke with said, well, you know, it's March. We should probably just close until September. And I was like, we can't just close the business for 6 months. And she's like, I just can't wrap my head around this situation. Met with another director. I said, hey, can you think of anything to keep the business going, keep your department going? She said, no. Like, it was that fast. Like, she was done. Like, wasn't interested in brainstorming, wasn't going to bring any ideas to the table. Her chips were cashed. She was not going to do anything to keep things going. So in that moment, I really felt like I was by myself. I was completely alone. Everything was up in the air. There was 100% uncertainty. No one knew what to do. So I knew that this was the time that I had to show the world what I was made of, show my staff what I was made of, that I could take this. And this is where I started learning about grit. So there's different elements to grit. One of the elements is courage. So I had to find some courage. So the first thing I thought of was, well, what's the worst thing that could happen in this situation? Well, the thing that I was most afraid of was my business would close. That's the worst thing that could happen. So I had to find the courage to keep my business open. I had to find the courage. So I already said a lot of my staff were paralyzed with fear. And so I really thought, wow, I'm going to have to do this by myself. Well, I found out I didn't have to do it by myself. I have a rock star, awesome manager, and she was with me 100%. She's like, yeah, what can we do? And she brainstormed with me, and I thought, wow, this person's with me. I talked to some of my other staff members, and they didn't necessarily have ideas, but they were with me. They're like, hey, we're with you. We're going to keep this going. We just don't know what to do. So what I had to do was lead them. I had to find the courage to lead them. So courage to keep my business open. My motivation was I'm going to keep this business going and then just be able to effectively lead my staff. So those are the first two elements of courage that I found when I discovered grit. So how does this work for you? If you're facing a situation that requires grit, well, the first thing is face your fear. Like, what is it you're afraid of? I was afraid my business was going to close. Okay, well, that's the worst thing that could happen. I was more afraid of that than I was to kind of step up and try to do something. Whatever I tried to do, even if I failed, at least I failed trying to fix a situation. I failed trying to make things going. The truth is, I didn't fail. It's been a year, my business is still going. People are still with me. Customers are coming back. A customer contacted me today who I haven't heard from in a year, and he said, hey, my kids are ready to come back to classes. What do you have available? Right? So that courage, you need to find it in you. What's your fear? You face it. You don't want that fear to become your reality, so you find the courage in you to deal with this fear straight ahead. You don't run from it, you just try to solve it. So that's my first element of grit. Tune in next week, and I'll cover the other 4 elements of grit every week. And don't miss tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, and Tuesday is quote day. See you then. Thanks. Bye.